Well, when I write, it depends on what I'm writing. Most of the time, it just pops up, you know, or sometimes it may be, I take my stimulation from everything in life. It might be me sitting somewhere and hearing a conversation. It might be me waking up out of a dream and that does it. It might be observing something. It might be a rhythm. So I can't say there's only one thing because I try to keep everything open and little antennaes all over. And I always carry a notebook with me. There's a notebook in my purse, in my pocket, in the car, with a rack for a pen, and there's a notebook right above my bed. So I can write whenever I feel like it. Yeah, because you never know where inspiration is going to come from. And what other question did you ask me?
How does
the music.
The music affect your performance, or does it?
Well, like I was telling Alan, that sometimes I don't even hear him. Because I only hear him when he's not doing it right. then I'll feel it, you know, and it kind of jars, but otherwise I just feel one with him. And like, if there's a rhythm, of course, like the last one, I feel the beat, you know, you feel the beat, so I respond to that. But otherwise, we just become one instrument. Right, Alan? And Joey.
Genie, how old were you when you wrote your very first poem?
I think I was around 7 or 8. Yeah, I think I wrote it about flowers and Easter because my father was a prolific poet. And when he died, there were boxes and boxes and boxes of his poems. And he never shared them with anyone. So I said, I'm going to share mine, and I am going to share his because I'm getting a book of his together now. Amelia Fielden, the editor who helped edit my last book, Storyteller, she read one of his stories and she says, you have to publish him. And I've shared some of you his stories, and every one of my friends says, you have to. So I will. It'll be out soon, my dad's poems. So anyway, he influenced me. And then my uncle, when I was about 8, he always encouraged me with art. He gave me one of those little black notebooks, you know, those journals, and he put, to Genie Weenie, from Uncle J. Woozle, write your own book. And I did from that point on. And I journaled so much. I had a stack this big. And then one day, I'll tell you his name, Eloy Trujillo, my boyfriend in high school. He said, what are you doing with all that stuff? That's bad. He said, throw them away. You know I threw them away? Yeah, but that's okay because I make up for it now. I just, you know, stacks and stacks and stacks in the closet again. But now I decided I'm going to become organized, and now I'm putting books together. No more stacks and papers all over. I'm just putting it in books. And then I can say, oh yeah, that's the thing to do. Put it in a book. Then you don't lose it. And then you give them to your friends, and your friends have it. And then when you need it, you say, do you know? And it's there for you. Yeah.
And when did you start with the haiku and the tanka?
Well, I started in 2009. Yeah, I had, you know, I was a dancer, and then I had a hip replacement, and while I was recovering, I joined a writing class online, and it was very, you know, you need interaction. So Janice, you know, she took me to Debbie's haiku group, which is in Pasadena at the Asia Pacific Museum. Debbie right here, Debbie Floji. really got me into haiku, but I never felt adequate at it. Sorry. And I kind of went into tanka because it's a little longer and not as objective. It's more subjective and emotional and all that stuff. And I need to be emotional, so I went into tanka. And that was about 5 years ago. Yeah, and it just took me. It was like 5 lines, what I want, what I need, and then Gary, the editor of Gardena Valley News, he's letting me buy Gardena Valley News. All you people that live in Gardena, subscribe to it. And I'm starting in the Cockatails little corner. And then in the raffle, you see me more or less, yeah, look for me, because it's like, tankas are small, so you really have to look. Okay.
Any other questions? I have a question for you, Genie.
Yeah.
What advice do you have for someone who's just starting out as a poet? What is your best piece of advice?
To not judge yourself, just write as much as you can. And carry that notebook around. Listen to your feelings. Look at the world. Write about it. You learn so much about yourself and about the world. And don't judge. Don't judge your work. A lot of things that you don't like, an editor will like. It's really funny, isn't it? It's just strange. You think, I don't like it. I just send it to them just to have it. And then they publish it, and you think, oh, I guess it was really good. An editor really liked it. But that's not really the reason why you want to write. It's because you want to write because it comes out of your heart. And I was telling Debbie that, especially in haiku and the tanka forms, children are one of the best writers of haiku. You read, I was at Nadra's house yesterday, and she had a book of poems written by children. And it was like, God, are they the greatest poets ever? Because they see the world as new, You just open your eyes to the eyes of a child. And open your heart and your mind to the eyes of a child. And see it and just write it down. Don't judge. You're the kid again. You don't want to be bad to your kid, okay? You don't want to be bad to your kid. So just write free. And there's a woman writer, her name is Yosano, I think. I can't forget it. Anyway, she said, quantity will finally make quality. Yeah, so you just write. Don't judge it, just write, throw it in a shoebox, whatever, come back to it, get a pretty notebook, It's so much fun to write. I've had so much joy writing. I couldn't dance, it was like, woe is me, but writing just took me like a stream, like an enter the stream, okay? And I encourage everyone to do it. And you learn about yourself. You learn about yourself through writing. And this morning, I was trying to write a tanka, because I do try to write every day, sometimes even if I don't feel like it. And so I was writing all this intellectual stuff. And then I said, well, I'll take my advice. Become a child. And I wrote about my dog Bodie last night when the rain started pouring. He started barking at the rain. He was like, what the heck? He was barking at the rain. So I wrote a tanka about Bodie barking at the rain, and it developed into a nice thing. But that's something that a child will do, And if we come back to that, we're going to always have open eyes and open hearts. And my drama teacher told me once, she won many awards, Virginia Capers, if you know her. She won the Tony for Raisin in the Sun, and she was good. She was a singer, everything. She passed away now. But when I was taking drama from her, she said, you know what? The best actors are children. You watch them in 1 minute, in 5 minutes, they'll go through 10 emotions. You spank them, they cry, they kick, And then they go off and they start playing in the mud, and then they get mad, and then they're happy and they're laughing. And that's the way it is if you come back to that child's day. I kind of ran over it, but you get what I mean, huh? It's true, right? It really is true. Yeah, so I'm 3.